HydroDAOs. And so rather than talking about the problems with water, which we all pretty much know what those problems are, we're going to focus on what are the solutions and what are models of success for us to solve many of the challenges we've got globally with water, because they're solvable.
And so desalination is a very good solution for municipal water. It's a backup, it's an insurance policy. It could be 100% of your municipal water, but there's no credible way at the cost of producing it that it can be completely used to replace, say, the Colorado River. So by taking only the gravitational slope of the flood irrigated field or any laser leveled field, you can transform it into a drip irrigation experience, saving up to 70% of the water, increasing yields by up to 45%, cutting carbon use by at least 50%, and with rice over 85%, and save the farmer a gigantic amount of money on fertilizer, because you need half as much fertilizer to use. It is
Israel, as you and I have discussed, is one of the few nations on this planet that is a thirsty, starved nation, or was, and figured it out and got the solutions for them to be able to not only have water, but to have a surplus of water. So let's dive in by talking about some of the ways that Israel did this.
What Israel did was they created a water revering culture. And from that, it became relatively easy for the government to ask for sacrifice from people. It became relatively easy for the government to ask people to think about water in a different way. It became relatively easy to price water, not wildly higher. It's not like bottles of Evian or Pellegrino, but slightly higher than what we're accustomed to, but getting incredibly better results with that slightly better pricing.
In the US, where you've got 31,000 or whatever it is, utilities have fewer than 500 customers. They're run by one man and a dog, and when the man's in the pub, the dog's running the show. And they're never going to innovate. They can't. They've got no capacity to innovate. They've got no funds. They've got no time. They've got no skills. They've got no inclination. They're just going to do everything that they always did, for good or bad.
Which is that we can totally afford to raise the price. So the problem we have is that water pricing in America is not set by independent body. It is set by mayors and city councils. And because people have been educated to think of water prices and sewage fees as kind of a tax increase, they refuse to, mayors and city councils refuse to raise the prices casually. And what they prefer to do is to let the water, the pipes in the ground rot. They prefer to allow positions that are essential in the water utilities to go unfilled. They prefer to have old technology. They prefer to have less safe, less healthy water.
And Todd, with your background at Microsoft, could you just talk about, most people have no awareness of the amount of water that our data centers are using to power the internet and all of our connections, and where Microsoft is a huge acquirer of water rights and water assets, and then innovative technology that you're working on relating to that. Could you share that with everyone?
So Microsoft data centers that are testing this immersion cooling technology, the only two that we're doing it in, Chicago and San Antonio, they already have a water system. So any of you who have used dry ice understand that. And then it goes back to a liquid. And then when it's in another state, sort of between liquid and solid, it's called supercritical CO2. It has enormous, like 1,700 times the heat pulling capability and transferring capability than water.
Bringing it up, one of our companies that we've invested in is called 374 Water, and it stands for 374 degrees, because at that level of heat, water separates its liquid and solids, and it's called supercritical water oxidation. So that's
AI is really interesting, and there's so many different flavors of it. But the most impressive AI applications I've seen are where you have physics-based models with AI used to tweak and tune those. Artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, digital twinning, yada, 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 all of those things in the water industry, they will happen. They are.